as some of you guys may have known, as some of you guys may have seen, or some guys may have heard, I was actually in Berlin recently. Yes, you heard it right. I was in Berlin recently for a quick little weekend getaway, and although it was a great experience, I unfortunately wasn't able to go to the main place I was meant to go to, which was Berghain. I was meant to go to Berghain for the 20th birthday party, but unfortunately, I did not end up getting into Berghain or going to Berghain because I peaked too early. And if you're a friend of mine and you've kind of talked to me personally, or you've known me in real life, you know what I mean when I say peak too early. And if you don't know what I mean, you probably do know what I mean. Okay, so big up everybody that knows what I mean, even if you don't know what I mean. But I didn't end up getting to Berghain, but I did have a great time whilst I was out there. I did have a great time whilst I was out there. So let me give you a recap of Wagwan quickly here, quickly. First of all, the first recap I want to give is regarding my attire. Big up Vinted. I was able to secure myself a nice little the North Face Nuptse all black, probably for about £50 before I was about to go there, and I'm happy I did, because all my North Faces prior I had to kind of throw them away because, you know, I kind of ran them fucking dry, so I had to buy a new one in order to be warm. And I'm happy I did, because it was the only really warm jacket that I had, and I forgot how cold it is in Berlin during the months of December, January, February, March, and basically early parts of April. It's fucking cold there. Like, it's not comparable to the UK. The kind of cold that you feel in Berlin, it's the kind of cold that you feel at the bottom of your balls, if that makes sense. If you're a guy, you kind of feel the coldness brushing the bottom of your balls. That's how cold it is. It's ridiculously cold. And obviously, if you're going to be spending a lot of time outdoors drinking, you're going to spend a lot of time queuing, a lot of time in the smoking area, just a lot of time gallivanting around, walking from club to club. That's what I do when I'm out there. I rarely even take the train sometimes, jumping from club to club, walking or jumping in the Ubers. You're going to need a good coat. So I'm happy I bought this North Face Nuptse. I'm happy I bought the North Face Nuptse. I took that with me, and that served me right. So glad I bought the Nuptse. I bought it from Vinted, second hand, £50, really good condition. I was able to get a lot of wear out of it, and I'm going to get more wears out of it, and I'm probably going to end up getting buying more. So I definitely do recommend, if you haven't got a Nuptse or something wintry to wear, definitely check out places like Vinted, because you can always find really good ones and in good conditions, cheap ones, from people who are maybe letting them go because, you know, they're bored of it or they want a new jacket and shit. So I was happy I bought that jacket. So big up the North Face Nuptse that I bought from Vinted. I was also really happy that I bought these Air Maxes too. I forgot the model of them, but I bought these Air Maxes specifically because I was actually waiting for my John Geigers to get here, but it didn't get here in time. But I wanted a particular Air Max I could wear day to day on the way to the airport, just walking around town when I went to go get some beers and stuff. That a shoe that I wasn't going to wear raving. It was going to be the shoe that I was going to wear when I was kind of like, you know, stomping around. And for once in my life, which I don't ever do, for once in my life, I ended up purchasing this pair again from Vinted, these Nike Air Maxes. And I ended up doing something that I don't ever do. I actually bought a pair of shoes that were my size. I know that sounds crazy, but for the longest time I've been in denial about what size I am. So it was really good to be able to buy a pair of shoes that were actually my size. And I bought these Nike, I think there's a Nike Air Max Deluxe, that's what I've got, yeah. Nike Air Max Deluxe that I purchased. And I think I paid like £40 for them, basically brand new condition, just without the box. And they served me so well. These Nike Air Max Deluxe, they served me so fucking well. And I was happy as well that I bought them in my size. They were size 11. For the longest time I thought I was a size 10. I guess my feet have grown now. I'm no longer a size 10. I'm a stone cold US 12, UK 11. And these fit perfectly. And I was able to beat around the streets of Berlin, stomping around, going from Spatkuf to fucking Turkish restaurant, to Spatkuf to Turkish restaurant, to Airbnb, to Paloma, to back and forth with these, and I was fairly good. So happy it was all that I bought them. So I recommend, if you're going to places like Berlin and you want to beat around the streets and shit, either you do like me and you take 3 pairs of shoes, or you wear 1 pair of shoes that are really comfortable, that you can, you know, swish around with different outfits and shit, and that aren't going to give you blisters and are maybe your exact size. Not crazy, because I was also wearing thick socks as well. I was wearing like super thick socks to keep me warm, and my feet were still nice and loose in there. They didn't feel all crunched up at the front. And it was nice also to wear a shoe that I didn't need to take the insole out, because I'm always known for taking out the insoles to give myself more room. So I didn't need to take the insoles out. I could wear them straight from the box or straight out of the packaging onto my feet, and that was fucking perfect. So big up the Nike Air Max Deluxes. They served me well on my trip. And of course, Ryanair flight, as per standard, you know how the deal is. Being a 6 foot individual, I don't play games when it comes to Ryanair. Budget airline, I know, but I always pay extra and get the seats that have the extra leg room. Always. And if I can't afford to pay for it, I'm just not going to go. I'm not somebody that believes in going on holiday and not having a lot of money anyway in the first place, or spending money. But I also don't believe in skimping on stuff like this. Like, I've done it before where I've sat in the normal seats that they allocate you for free. Never again. If I'm going on a budget airline, I make sure that I pay for the extra luggage. I check in my luggage, and I also make sure that I fucking get the seats with extra leg room. Now, the only issue is that you can't carry a bag on you. You can't have the bag on you. You have to kind of leave it overhead. And when you're allowed, when the plane's kind of whatever, and you can take off your belt, you can then kind of take your bag out and all that stuff. But if you want the extra leg room and you're probably got long legs, or you're a tall person like I am, it's very imperative to make sure you get that extra leg room. I paid the extra £7, £17, however it may be, and I was more than happy for it. And then of course arrived in Berlin. Everything was fucking sweet. Got there I think sometime in the afternoon. I think I was staying next to, that's where I saw the Berlin Tower, which is weird as well. All these years I've been to Berlin, right? All these years I've been to Berlin, specifically to go to Berghain. The first time I actually saw the Berlin Tower was this past weekend, because I guess the areas I usually stay in, I don't ever go here, and I don't ever do the touristy thing. So the first time I ever saw this Berlin Tower in my entire time of going to Berlin, which is 10 plus more years, was this past weekend, which is embarrassing, but it is what it is. I saw some Christmas trees, and then of course I spent most of my time eating donuts. Turkish donuts. I spent most of my time at this place called Mustafa's. It's a little hut that serves really good donuts there. They're kind of world famous. It's also the one that Kanye went to recently when he was in Berlin. But it's the tourist hotspot. Every time I went, there was a queue. I had to wait like basically 30 to 1 hour to get my fucking donut, which was what it is. But it was amazing. I had like 4 or 5 of them throughout the time I was there. I kept going back. I had donut for breakfast. So basically I ate once a day. I basically had a doner for breakfast and lunch and dinner, and then countless amounts of beer, like unlimited. Like the amount of beer that I drank this past weekend, I don't know, it's unfathomable, the amount of beer that I drank. But as I said before in the stream, when I was streaming, whilst I was out there, I did a couple random shows and shit. I'm not too sure if it's a placebo when you go out to places like that, if because you're on vacation, the beer just tastes different and food just tastes different, or is it because they just make the beer different there? They use different hops, different barley, whatever, I don't know. But I was just swigging, and my stomach isn't the best when it comes to beer. I can sometimes shit myself, so I can sometimes get very gassy and shit. But I was necking them back. I was necking back Berliner Kilns and these other ones as well. I was drinking them like they were fucking orange juice. Like I was necking so many beers. I left so many bottles behind in the Airbnb, like crazy amounts of flipping rubbish. That I'm sure the fucking owners will be like, "What the hell? This guy was here by himself and he drank like 17 bottles of beer." Like I was going flipping crazy, but I enjoyed it. Had a good time. Really enjoyed that one. And of course, here's them at Mustafa's preparing my doner that I was having. I think I got 2 at one time. Every time I went, I got 2, which is fucking some big fat boy shit. But hey, I'm not upset about that. And then I also managed to get myself a currywurst at this place, which is next door to Mustafa's, called Curry 36. They do burgers as well, but obviously they're well known for their currywurst, which is the sausage and the little paprika spice thing and the chips and the mayo and the ketchup. I fucking loved it, so I smashed through that as well. That was pretty fun. And then this other thing I wanted to show you about Berlin on my way home actually was this kid that I saw on my way home. I didn't know this is how you meant to use these bags. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know these straps on the outside of the back. Call me naive. I did not know that these straps on the outside of backpacks could be used this way. So this kid has got this really cool North Face bag, and he strapped his Solomon shoes to the back of his bag using the straps that are on the outside of the backpack. I didn't know that was what you meant to use them for. I just thought it was just like a design thing, like just to make them look cool. I didn't know that they were functional. I didn't know that these little Velcro strap things were functional on the outside of the backpacks. I really didn't. That's super fucking cool. That's really a good idea for you to carry shoes in your backpack without having to put the shoes inside the backpack. Because, you know, you don't want to leave it next to food or clothes, or because they're dirty, or because there's just no room. So you can essentially extend the size of the backpack by using these cable ties, which he's put his shoes in. So it makes it look really cool. I really didn't know. I really fucking didn't know that this is what he meant to use it for. So big up this kid for giving me the idea. And then of course we got some pictures here of some street art stuff that I saw while I was cruising around Berlin. People making these little art pieces and leaving notice trees and shit. And I also saw this really well dressed man on the way home that was carrying a Rimowa bag, which I kind of want to get now. I kind of want to get a Rimowa bag. They're really expensive, but they seem bulletproof and they look really chic. I kind of really want a Rimowa bag. So this is kind of my experience going to Berlin. So let me tell you about my non-Berghain experience. So I went to Berlin specifically this past weekend to go to the Berghain 20th birthday party. I didn't go, not because I didn't get in, not because I was denied, not because of anything else. I was actually fortunate enough to have people reach out to me and offer me guest list spots to go to Berghain. I was actually meant to make a couple of people, listeners, who I was meant to meet out there and go and rave with. So apologies for those of you that I was meant to meet in Berlin or in Berghain specifically to go and have a little bit of a rave and a shindig with. I'm gutted that I couldn't meet some of you guys, but I'll be there again next month anyway, so do not fret on that one. I'll be there next month. But I wasn't able to go to Berghain because I peaked too early. I forgot the vibes and the ambience when it comes to Berlin and the vibes around it. And when I landed on a Friday, I was a little bit worse for wear because I didn't sleep much the prior night. So then when I arrived, the plan was that I was going to get, the plan that I had was that I was going to land on Friday. I was going to get myself, acquainted. I was going to shower. I was going to eat, and I was going to get some drinks, and then not even alcoholic. I was going to get some drinks and then just power over to Berghain at like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. and just queue super early. And then get there as soon as I could so I could see the first few DJs, because I wanted to see the first few acts. Like I was really, really excited to see the first, like, let's say 5 or so back-to-backs. I wanted to see all these people. I went to see the opening, which was Fidel back-to-back with DJ Pete. Then it was Surgeon. Then it was Face Fatale back-to-back with Terence Fixima. Then it was Kyle Geiger back-to-back with Vincent Newman. Then it was Etap Kyle back-to-back with Daria Kolosova. Then it was Miss Kitten back-to-back with Marcel Dietman. Then it was Amatep back-to-back with Answer Code Request. And then Renee Wise and Rod had. That was the plan initially. Before I left, I wanted to do this. I wanted to go there and see this. And then obviously seeing that would have also allowed me to see this 5 here, right, which I also went to see, which would have been Tamo Sohn back-to-back with Lucuti and Panorama Bar, Massimiliano Pellegrali back-to-back with Budino, Andre Galuzzi by himself, then Dinky back-to-back with Matthew Styles, Cormac back-to-back with Curses, Richard Akibembe back-to-back with Parallel Online, and Boutmaker back-to-back with Gallagher, Seth Troxler, Orgazon, and Ryan Elliott. So I would have saw some pretty decent people if I would have went, right? But I didn't, because I peaked too fucking early. And it was a reminder that vibe-wise and ambiance-wise, it's such a cool and fun place to be. Or no, not going to. So I was too tired. So I rewind it back. So when I arrived, I didn't have no sleep. I get there, I get some drinks, and then I go straight to bed. Like my body just shuts down. So when I wake up, it's already Saturday morning, right? And I'm still not bothered to go. So I just get my food, I chill, I hang out in the thing. And obviously when I'm chilling throughout the day, hanging out, that's when I peak too early. But then when I'm kind of, alert and ready to go out now, I'm like, shit, I actually want to go to Paloma Bar because it's Powerhouse or Power Disco that happened when I was there. So I go to Paloma Bar, and I love Paloma Bar personally for me. I don't know why, but it's just like, maybe because it's a club that I would love to open one day, like the kind of size it is, the music programming, the fact that it's split across like 3 floors kind of, like, and it's the fact that it's what station is it next to? I think it's like Cop Bossa Tour, right? I think the station is next to it. Like, I just love the area. I love everything about it. I love the club itself. I love the programming, and of course, Finn Johansson's Powerhouse Power Disco night is one of the best nights out there in the nightlife. I personally think so. So I'm always going there whenever I can be in a city. So I went to Paloma Bar, had a great time in Power Disco Powerhouse, and stayed in Paloma Bar until the early hours, and then came back home. And then didn't really remember to go to fucking Berghain. And I was actually even meant to go to Oxy too. Somebody invited me to like a trance night in Oxy, which I didn't end up going to either. So I spent most of my time recovering from the jet lag and not sleeping the night before on the Thursday. Because again, I fucked up the whole trip. Because what I was meant to do is that I was meant to pack early during the week, so that I could then sleep normally on the Thursday night and then wake up super early Friday morning and get my flight. But I didn't do that. I ended up, going a little bit crazy on the fucking Thursday before I left, which then meant that I couldn't sleep. I stayed up, which then meant when I landed on Friday, I crashed, which then meant I woke up on Saturday, which then meant I peaked too early on a Saturday, which then meant I went out on Saturday night, and then I finished. And then all the time I spent when I was there was streaming. So if I wasn't streaming, I was sleeping. If I wasn't sleeping, I was peaking too early. So I didn't have any time to go to fucking Berghain at all. 0, 0, 0, 0. Which in retrospect isn't probably the worst thing, because allegedly everybody online is crying and complaining and saying that it was probably one of the worst special events they've ever been to. And there's been so many complaints on social media about it that I'm going to read to you right now vis-a-vis the Berghain community subreddit. People are going absolutely crazy with their complaints and really freaking out that it wasn't a regular kind of like, you know, club night that usually happens there at Berghain and Panorama Bar. And they're really upset about the treatment they've had, the queue cutting, the queues, the hecticness, the zombies, everything. People are really upset. So in one sense, I feel kind of vindicated I didn't go. I feel kind of happy that I don't have that much FOMO. But in another sense, I know if I would have went, I would have had to blast, because I had a plan. And I also am aware of how crazy and how annoying it gets on special events, because I'm not special. Everybody thinks the way that I'm thinking, or like a normal person thinks. You go to these type of events, that Berghain do these special events, because it's good value for money. It's fantastic value for money. You get to see like what? There's probably like 50 plus DJs on here. Some of the world's best DJs, some of the, you know, well liked, the ones that most people were going to enjoy. And you get to see all these people play from Friday all the way till Monday morning, essentially for what? 55 euros plus 15, which is what, 70. You get to see all these amazing DJs play for 80 euros across 4 nights. I understand why everybody's going. It makes complete sense. It's great value for money. But of course, with that value for money comes extra attention, comes extra demand, maybe comes some a little bit, you know, crazier attitudes, which obviously leads to it maybe not being the funnest experience ever. But we're going to read some reviews here, courtesy of the Berghain subreddit, of people who didn't have the greatest time. So this is courtesy of the Berghain community subreddit, one of the best subreddits out there. This is kind of the play-by-play. They have like a live update thread every weekend for every club event. And obviously for this one, it's for the 20th anniversary. So let's actually sort these comments out via hot, because I want to see, or top. No, let's do best. Let's do best, yeah. Let's see these comments. I want to see what some of these people had to say about their experience going out there, right? So let's read some of these comments, because I think some of them might be illuminating to get an understanding of what happened here. So let's see here. Currently no queue. Someone says here, at this time in the entry line, I feel that now I know my queue friends better than some of my family members. That's hilarious. Yeah, that always happens too. That's actually quite nice. That's actually one of the best parts of going to places like Berghain, the queue banter. Especially further back. The closer it gets to the door, everyone usually kind of shuts up and doesn't want to speak anymore, because they're afraid that if they speak, it's going to harm their chances of getting in, which is really dumb as well. But the banter in the queues at the back is usually god tier. It's usually super, super good. And sometimes you can end up finding some friends, you know, you add them on social, you end up kind of linking up later on. You may end up meeting them on the dance floor and shit. It's always a laugh. So big up the queues, big up the queuers. Another one says, if you can wait 8+ hours in the queue in the freezing cold to enter a club, you can achieve anything. Imagine what you can do with that power. That always happens to everybody. I think we all have that realization. We've all had that realization. I've had that realization waiting in queues to buy burgers with my friend Bobby. Big up Bobby, he knows what I'm going. We've waited in fucking queues to buy burgers. We went to certain places in London where a certain person has went to America with this recipe and brought back this particular way of making a burger. We've done all that shit. So you have those moments in your life when you're queuing outside for sneakers, queuing outside for burgers, queuing to get a ticket to go to another thing, queuing for a raffle entry. Like, there are some moments where you think to yourself like, wow, I'm a fucking loser. I can't believe I'm queuing in the freezing cold for 8 hours for a nightclub. And I've had it. I've had to confess, my longest time waiting in a nightclub in the queue at Berghain was like 6 hours. And I think that was like the 18th birthday. I went and I queued straight up for 6 hours. I got into mad arguments with people cutting the queue. I got into some, you know, shouting matches and shit that would maybe gonna turn kind of physical. I wasn't in the best mood, obviously, because I was getting into these arguments on my own, because everyone else let people kind of cut in. I was the only ones like standing there by myself, defending the right of the queue or the sanctity of the queues. And then later on, I was told, big up Losbra, I was told later on in a quite unconventional, in quite clear sense that queue cutting is a part of the culture over there. It is what it is. If you don't queue cut, you're not going to get in. And some people that live there feel like they have a bit of ownership over the club, and they queue cut because they feel like they have the right to. And he was kind of right when he said what he said. I'm still don't like it, but I get it. It continues. So after waiting for over 4 hours for re-entry, I had enough time to reflect on some of my life choices in life, and I learned some lessons. Most importantly, I will avoid the big events at all costs, even if a cute guy tries to convince me otherwise, and I'll believe people when they say they stay at home, it's not worth it. I'm proud of myself for being able to learn. This is the thing that I'm surprised that people are only learning now. This has always been the case. This has always been the case. The special events are only good because the lineups are great value for money. As I said, this lineup right here, even if it is back-to-backs, which a lot of people in the scene don't like, because back-to-backs, back-to-backs in general, I guess, from a UK person, I think they're phenomenal, because you sometimes get the chance to have like weird kind of collaborations, or sometimes weird types of like artists that you probably wouldn't necessarily see play on the same lineup. Playing back-to-backers could be good, and back-to-back basically means that DJ plays like 2 records each most of the time, or sometimes 1 record each back-to-back, and it can sometimes make for a fun experience. But I guess some music people are like, it doesn't really work because you're forcing people who probably don't share any similarities stylistically or whatever, or some people just kind of play better by themselves to try and work with somebody live. It can be a bit clunky. But regardless, even if it's just back-to-backs or if it's not, this is great value for money, so it's very tempting. But if you're after the real Berghain experience, like if you're kind of obsessed with going there and you want to experience it, you heard about all the hype, you've read all the articles, you watched all the YouTube videos, you've done everything, you listened to all the podcasts and shit, you're probably better off going to like a random night. I'd even advise going to like a Friday event that isn't even in Berghain, like a Panorama Bar event, a Weirdos event, whatever, right? A Toy Tonics night. You're probably better off going to those types of events to get a real idea on what the club's about, to get a feel for the vibe, the essence, the ambiance, the history, all this malarkey, than you are going to a special event. You're not going to get much out of it, especially these big ones. It's not going to really be, it's probably going to make you hate the club. I'm not going to lie. A special event is probably going to make you hate the club and hate the scene and hate the people that are, around it, hate DJs, hate everything. You're going to hate everything about it if you go. You're probably better off going to like a random club night during the week. But again, I understand the temptation to go because the lineup's just too good. 8.5 hours re-entry, never again. Now, this is something that I'm going to give myself a bit of a credit for. I was never thinking about re-entry the way these people think about re-entry. My plan, if I would have went inside, was to see the first 5 people that I went to see in each room, right? The first 5 or 6 people, let's say I went to see in each room. Let's say, how much is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see the first 10 sets I went to see, right? Each room, flipping through the different rooms. But then when I left, the idea was to like leave, sleep, and then go to Powerhouse, Power Disco, and then maybe come back later on a Sunday. But it wasn't to like come back and then just like after an hour and then come. No, you're never going to get in because it's going to be too full. Stay as long as you can and try and make it, I would say, 10 hours. And then after the fact, if you want to re-enter back later, try on the Sunday later, cool, that's all good. But this idea that people had that they could like come in and out like a regular club night, which is quite fun, that's what makes it fun. You pay the €15 re-entry fee and you can kind of flitter in and out as much as you want. It's cool. But people had the wrongest impression of like how easy that would be, because in prior times, I know this is different now, but when I used to go, especially to special events, sometimes they would have the re-entry queue be the same queue as the guest list, and sometimes it would be longer than the regular queue. Honestly, I've been in queues sometimes where the re-entry and guest list queue is longer than the regular queue, which never happens, and it happened before. And sometimes they'll be like, hey, we're not letting anybody in, it's too full. And unless there's more people coming out, there's not going to be anybody coming in for another 2 hours, and people just stand there, don't leave, or they'll just say no one's coming in and no one wants to leave because everyone's afraid they're like lying or bluffing to get you guys to go away. So no one leaves, everyone just stands there. It's a strange thing. So people that were expecting to come in and out, you did a bad move. You should have just went for as long as you wanted to go for, see the people you went to see, and then kind of played it by ear. But hey, what do I know? Len is cheesy, Hal is beautiful, Boris and Ralph are still in third gear, Septim, judging by all the people in Let's Without the Queuing, is friends with half of Berlin. Okay, I don't know who that is, so let's get to the security guard, the Septim person. No oversharing of the toilet stalls. Just got in, the vibes are truly 100% terrible. The crowd is feeling more regular Berlin, so that explains it, I guess. I find them, oh really? Interesting. This person's saying the people, I'm hearing people complaining about the tourists. This person's saying it's the fault of the Berliners. I just got in. The vibes are truly 100% terrible. The crowd is feeling more regular / Berlin, so that explains it, I guess. I find them the most snobby, rude and cliquey. Going to leave soon, not worth it. Enjoy everybody. Friday is such a good vibes until Marcel Deepman and Miss Kit, and the vibes went downhill from then. So that's what I keep hearing from people. People keep saying that the vibes were immaculate up until then. Everyone's saying on Friday was the best time. So I guess Friday and Saturday, up until like, let's say, I guess it's a Saturday, right? Up until here is when the vibes were immaculate. So everyone's saying it was really good here. And then after this is when it started to get really dark and bad and the vibes kind of changed. But wow, this person's blaming Berliners. I think you would, when you go, most people who have been Berlin would know this, but I think when you go to places like that, I think it's probably the same if you probably go to Unfold. I've never been, but I think it's probably the same. You probably realize if you like techno or don't when you go to those type of things, because you see the people who like, their whole personality is techno, their whole personality is nightclubs, their whole personality is about nightlife. You see them and you start to realize that you're not like them, and it makes you either want to be like them or appreciate what they do or hate it and maybe hate yourself. So, you know, it's a good thing in general because you get to realize where you stand, you know, when it comes to all that sort of shit. Another person here says, sorry to hear this. It does validate a lot of what I expected yesterday. At some point around 3 p.m, I noticed the place was dirty and chaotic as it gets during the worst closings. I saw a lot of people going hard pretty fast, myself included, and I wasn't even in there. I was going hard pretty fast in Paloma Bar and at my Airbnb. Big up. The more people around you act uncaring, and the more people become uncaring. Also stood out to me was a lot of casual conversations indicated a lesser than average care for music. Wild on a weekend like this, and many people planning to stay as long as possible to avoid the re-entry queue. If they're reading reports, they would push themselves even further. No one can be the best headspace. So this person's complaining that there were too many people talking and not concentrating on music. Interesting, man. I always find it interesting when people complain about that. So it's like, bro, are you dancing? If you're dancing, why do you care if everyone else is talking? Like, anyway, whatever. Please, to the person that took my dark brown leather jacket with the BDG badge on the arm, give it back. Okay. Thank you, God Jensen and Arm for the moment with Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. I will keep this in my best memories of my life. I'm still crying. Okay. Fucking God Jansen made me cry last time I saw him in October. I know somebody else that made God Jansen cry. But we'll keep that for another pod. I spent 3 hours in the queue just to stand in another queue for 1 hour. If you think the queue is bad outside, wait until you see the bathrooms. Yeah, allegedly the bathroom queues in Berghain were really bad. The panel bar ones are usually okay. There's also other ones downstairs, isn't it, in the main as you come in. But I think they say are those the Flinter ones? I don't think those are the Flinter ones. The ones as you come in past the cloakroom, there's toilets as you go in straight, and those are ones, even though there's usually long queues, they usually cycle through because people are usually trying to get their stuff and then go upstairs. Do you know what I mean? So those are usually quite good queues toilets to go in if you're full, or if the other ones are full. But again, that's part of the fun, man. You're in now as well. Like, stop complaining. You know what I mean? If you can complain about the queue outside, but once you go in, let's not complain about the toilet queues. Like, if you don't want to be in a toilet queue, don't shit before you go there, or maybe don't do any drugs. Simple as that. Another one. Why is reading your comments more thrilling than watching Game of Thrones? The ice bar seemed to be low on food throughout the entire... Oh my God, people are so whiny. Oh my God, bro. Now you complain that there wasn't enough food in the ice bar. Bruh, man, feed yourself before... Like, grown people crying about queues outside at a special event. One of the most oversubscribed, like, I would imagine the amount of tourists that came, like, I couldn't imagine the amount of flights, the amount of people who traveled like I did over the weekend, specifically to Berlin to go to this event. Oversubscribed, crazy packed. People are complaining about that. Then they're complaining now about the food. Like, oh my God. I think I'm ready for my first homosexual experience. Okay, cool. Spent 28 hours. So sorry, this person says spent 28 hours between 2 p.m. Saturday and 6 p.m. Sunday. Berghain generally was too chaotic, occasionally aggressive and packed. In my opinion, there's definitely a charm with this, going bananas and a little over the top when celebrating special occasions like this, but when it results in aggression, it's obviously just wrong. I had one guy literally pushing my phone down while I was shortly sending my friend a message from the dance floor. Many instances on the dance floor where people physically push me without excusing themselves. Well, to be fair, put your phone down, innit? Why are you texting your friend on the dance floor? Oh my god, it's so amazing. Do that when you're on your way to the toilet. Like, put your phone down. Like, that's your own fault. Next time, don't put your phone out when people are skanking out. There's nothing worse than someone skanking and like giving you the face like, bro, I don't care about your text. Fucking DM your mum later on the way when you're in the Uber or something. Toilet situation, complete chaos, with people insisting to enter the toilet even though they were waiting after us. Yeah, but that's part of the fun, bro. Part of the fun is that battle. Defending your line in the queue, deciding if you're going to allow that person to say they want to join you, deciding that person's a freak or not, trying to maybe jump in with other people. Like, that's part of the fun, bro. Like, honestly, people are such pussies. Like, just, if you don't want someone to jump in the queue, just say no, and they won't jump in front. Simple as that. People take the piss because they can take the piss. Don't be a mark. You know what I mean? I got even more chaotic after the garden toilet closed. The Panorama Bar vibe was nicer, more relaxed, more mature, more space to dance. Favorite set was Orgazon and Ryan Elliott smashing old school house bangers to a great crowd with a joy of playing together. Was very wholesome. Yeah, that would have been a nice set to see, to be fair. I'm a fan of Ryan Elliott, and Orgazon's always got good vibes. She's always fucking playing very light-hearted, good vibes, smiley housey music. Another person says balls for freshly shaved, ready to let loose, see you all in the morning. 9/11, this is officially zombie land in here, look after yourself. Daddy Cormac and Curses bringing the telepower to Pano. That's another one also that I really missed out. I really gutted I didn't see. Cormac back to back with Curses. Don't even bother going right now, but queues insanely long, slow, and it's freezing. The day after fought, Miss Kitten was out of this world. Their selection was brilliant. Oh my god, the dance floor vibe, straight to Berghain top 5. I had one person tell me this was pretty shit, and this person saying it was probably the top 5 sets. That's why, you know, these events, you just have to go yourself and make your own mind up. You can't really judge a lot of what people, you can't really judge an event like this based on what people say online. You kind of have to go and figure it out yourself. But of course, going and figuring out yourself requires you to wake up early, go and queue up, maybe put yourself through an 8.5 hour queue. I can't do. I've done 6 hours. I can't do 8. I definitely can't do 8. Even when I did 6, I thought it was 4. I thought I did 4, but I actually did 6 hours. I don't think I could be in the queue for 8.5 hours. So maybe, you know, maybe just go on a random date. Don't go on a special event. Let's hope all the zombies leave and get their deserved rest so that the fresh Rangers can take their place. There's a lot of hate in Berghain circles around GHB users. There's a lot of hate around GHB users, right? And I find it hilarious because GHB is super popular in the scene, especially Berlin. Everyone fucking takes it. Everyone does it. Everyone enjoys it. Everyone loves it. But people online act like, you know, snobby pearl clutches and sit on their high horse and point fingers and, like, you know, get all snobby and wag their finger at it. But everyone does it. That contrast just makes me laugh so much. People complain about it online, but it doesn't stop. It doesn't heed. People pass away. People get addicted. People lose everything off the back of GHB. It doesn't calm down or slow down its fucking appeal or this fucking, you know, love that people have for it. I don't know. People just need to fucking, you know, realize it's a part of the scene. Unfortunately, accept it. When people are doing it, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But this constant complaining or this constant, oh, the zombies, like, bruh, what can you do? Another one says 6-hour re-entry, RIP. I'm generally curious, how do you manage to wait 6 hours in a Berghain queue? It's very easy. Once you wait for an hour, you're going to wait for 2. If you wait for 2, you're going to wait for 3, and so on and so forth. That's how they get you. And it's even worse if you see the queue move. If you wait for 6 hours and the queue doesn't move, you're a better person than me. But if in the 6 hours that you were standing there, you see the queue move a bit, and you go from like near the ATM or near the Spatcuff all the way to the fucking snake bit, you're gonna stay because it feels like you're just there. You're not really just there because it takes time, but it feels like you're just there because you can literally touch the door. It's in touching distance. That's how they get you. It sounds crazy to say queuing up for 6 hours for a club, but it's easier than you think it is. And of course, no one brings snacks or anything. Sometimes people will go on a little runs. I've been in queues when you made friends with people and they'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna go quickly down to because there's like a little porter cabin spat cuff like off license place at the end of the queue that you can buy drinks from. And obviously there's people there also like little porter cabin food cart things selling food and shit, so you can buy food, you can quickly get drinks. So that's what people do. So if you make friends, you can quickly just say, hey, could you get me something, and they can get you something while you wait, or you can take turns, or that's how it can be. So it's not that big of a deal really, or just stand there and just listen to your music or talk to somebody or not. It's not that big of a deal. The question is, which motherfucker did longest bender inside? Let's see. Yeah, who did the longest bender? I think I saw them levitating by a taxi stand. I know someone who said he's been there since Friday the week before. Hilarious. Daria and Kyle just didn't really do it for me. The vibes were meh. Still not at the door yet, waiting over 3 hours. This is it. I'm calling it a night and giving up. Those who made it from closing enjoyed. Dance a little extra for me. Friday and Saturday was a lot of fun for me, so I'm not that mad for not getting round 2. I appreciate the post for Steffi's badass, stern, hyper-focused style. People selling... by the way, I heard this. People selling re-entry queue positions. So I heard people were selling not only re-entry queue positions, but I heard people were also selling wristbands. People were somehow, because the Berghain wristbands, they usually put them on pretty tight. So somehow people was slipping out of the wristbands and giving it to people. And then people were reusing the wristbands to get back in again. So, big up people that ever do that. Any update on how Dorboff Berlin was doing since Kelzer set? He didn't get in. Hilarious. Clubbing shouldn't be that much of a hassle. This weekend was totally off. Mishka, all bag stations open. What happens? It's hard work. Yes, a lot of patience was required, but the payoff was worth it, I think. So many goosebumps moments over the weekend. Okay, finally somebody being positive. So many goosebump moments over the weekend. Definitely prefer the lower key, quieter club nights, but I'm glad I got to see Arm and Gerd closing panel. Oh, now I'm getting FOMO. That would have been good. Vincent and Kyle was a highlight on Saturday. Too cute. Yeah, that's a good one. That's really good booking, to be fair. To have Arm and Gerd Jansen closing panel bar, that's a really good booking, to be fair. Seeing the sunlight come through the fucking panel windows, that would have been fucking cool. Y'all making it sound like a fairy tale in there. I got here about 7 and waited about 8:30 to get in. It's utter mayhem inside. Mostly tourists out of their minds. Feel super FOMO that I missed a nice Friday into the Saturday environment. Let tourists be out of their minds, brother. Honestly. Now going to Berlin, as I've been there recently, because I haven't been in a long time, or I haven't been maybe a couple of years, it's way more expensive than it was prior. The price of beer has definitely gone up. The price of booze has definitely gone up. It's no longer a cheap European trip anymore. You definitely have to save a bit of money to go, or spend a bit of money if you're there. So the tourist should be allowed to go crazy. Like, let them go crazy. The city's meant for it. It's an adult playground. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a very grungy version of like a European Miami sort of thing. Like, let us go crazy. Let us go fucking lose our minds. Out of topic, drinking an espresso martini and watching you dance from the light technician's balcony, beautiful fucking demons. That's actually a really good fucking vibe, actually. The espresso martinis in there are awesome, and standing on that little balcony thing is fucking great. You get to, because the stairs that lead up to Pano Bar, there's like a little balcony place where the lighting technician sits, and you can basically see them do their jobs. You can stand right next to them, and obviously they blocked the thing, but you can see them doing their thing, and you can also look across or look down to see all the dancers doing their thing as well as you drink or whatever. So that's also always fun. Please don't poo please don't poo at the Flinter urinal, everyone, as it can't be flushed in there for hours. Really, just so you're not meant to do drugs in there. You're not meant to poo. What are you meant to do in there then? Just piss and paint your nails. Like, what are you meant to do in there? I don't understand this Flinter bathroom. I get the reason behind it, to allow people to like do their business, that to don't have to be sharing it with dudes. I get it, but you can't poo in there now. Okay, it can't be flushed for hours. Really disgusting during the time of use, but also for the cleaners. The urinals are such an upgrade. Let's keep them. Hold on, people will poo. Hold on. Rewind. Please don't poo at the Flinter urinals. So people were pooing in the Flinter there's. How can you have a Flinter urinal anyway? But regardless, there's urinals and people are pooing in them. So people are standing up and shitting in urinals. I love Berghain so much. I'm never going to shut up about Berghain. There are people who go into Berghain and shit in upright urinals. Alright. That's why I love this place. Back in no entry, guest list +1 was decided by main bouncer, it seemed. I was reminded at bag check not to do audio recordings. Yes, I asked specific if I misheard. Oh, really? Is that what they're saying now? They're telling you not to, you can't even do audio. They're telling you not to record anything. Huh. Because obviously they cover your phone when you go in there. And they sometimes, if they see you're green, they'll tell you not to record anything. But they usually cover your phone and it says no entry. So you get the gist. And most of the time, if people do try and take out their phone to record, someone will come near them and slap, you know what I mean, and tell, hey, you're not meant to do that, do you know what I mean? You get called out by your fellow ravers. But I didn't know they were purposely dissuading people not to post the clips, because DJs that play in Berghain will repost people video clips that you can't see anything, but just the audio of them playing. They do it all the time. So the fact that they are telling people maybe is a sign to come that they might be telling DJs soon not to repost those type of things. I don't know. What else is going on here? Sandwiches were restocked. Not gonna lie, seeing it happening when someone gives us a stare. No, not gonna lie. I see it happening that when someone gives the start sign of re-entry, there'll be an army of people not waiting at home and we'll be back to zero. The vibe, okay, cool. 1 hour for re-entry, was freezing cold. Re-entry 7.5 hours. Someone please tell me the re-entry was finally dying down. The good thing this weekend is I think it reduced the capacity of the club because it was not extremely packed inside at any time. If you compare it to the insane queues, I was there from Saturday 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. always space to dance. The toilet queues were less worse than the other big weekends, and during the morning and afternoon I just want to light up at the exact part. No, I just want to light up the exact 15-20 minutes when Jacko and Barker will play music on the sound palette of Jaguar in order to finalize the mixing phrase with it and create such a magical, energetic, top-notch vibe. By far the best moment of the whole anniversary and one of the best moments of my Berghain journey, beginning of my Vidderson building. Who's at the door? Lost my pinky ring on the main floor with do wrong to no one written on the inside in a tiger. Anyone found it, please let me know. Message passed from the wardrobe. The weekend, the door and the wardrobe be very strict about bag size. All the people who stayed home this weekend just to read the thread, we get it. I had an incredible time entering just midday on Saturday for 7-hour session, 0 queue, got the best of both rooms. Cormac and Curses with Berghain and Panorama Bar, such a great combo, playing Madonna and the Human League alongside some of the dark, wavy acid punk numbers. For the last hour of the set, the room was going wild. Two of the kindest, most friendliest artists going, always smiling on their faces, amazing energy and warmth inside the decks. Love to see their success with their positive values and musical talent. Curses deserves a residency, agree with that one, he's fucking awesome. Spent the second half of my session watching Kitten and Deepman, who were on fire, another pair of legends, their contrasting sternness matching the powerful techno and EBM they were serving. No Future by Kendall and David Carretta sounds so good out of that system. Would have given a re-entry on Sunday ago if I hadn't have got home, but perhaps it was a blessing not given the reports. So yeah, see, Curses and Cormac was that should be more. They should do more back-to-backs. And Marcel Dietman and Kitten must have been good too, because people are saying they weren't really big fans of Marcel Dietman and they really enjoyed his set with Miss Kitten. So yeah, this is a really good review. Big up this person. I'd like to see the positivity. Let me upvote that one. Best sober experience ever. When I was leaving 20 minutes ago, there wasn't a queue. See you all tonight. By the way, I had a huge backpack with me. Faced no problems with that. Matrix and the beard on the door. There's plenty of space inside. Beard with nice no queue at all. What else is going on there? Any more reports here? Another one, simply one of the absolute best clubbing experiences of my life. Sorry for the people who had to endure insane queues, but it's honestly all about strategy. I entered on Sunday morning at 7 a.m. by queuing 1 hour in a regular queue. That's a good time to go, by the way, if you're wondering. Early Sunday, I'm guessing like any time from like, I don't know, I'd say like 2 a.m. to fucking 8 a.m. probably a good time to go on a Sunday morning. By queuing 1 hour regular queue, went straight to the top floor extra garderobe where I waited 10 minutes, did all my lines in hell and without any struggles. Left big up. Oh yeah, that's another good point too. There's toilets in the Halle place as well, isn't it? Right, that's a really good point actually. Instead of going to all the regular toilets on Panel or Berghain, go to the Halle, how you fucking pronounce that word, and they've got toilets there also. The only queue I did was 30-minute wait for the ice bar for a smoothie. This one will stay in my memory forever. Berghain is, by some small exceptions, a place of absolute wonder, a pillar of hope, tolerance, dance and love that was standing there for 20 years despite the critics and the pandemic and the development of Berlin. A big applause for the staff who kept doing their jobs all weekend, all the DJs for making me dream, to Berghain for still being here stronger than ever, and for the most insane and beautiful community. People were calm, respectful, looking clean, sexy and shining, good vibes. The amount of love that was radiating for Pano on Sunday evening was unbelievable. All the people who complain about recent re-entry queue, everyone deserves a chance to be a part of the celebration like this one. Simply come, dance till you can't, go back home with a smile on your face and love in your heart, and let other people make this place live. But most of all, thankful for Berlin and Berghain, for the small bubble of the world exists today that you can experience it. Keep dancing, love forever. Again, another good positive vibe. Love this. Okay, good to hear, man. I hear everybody complaining and crying online, so it's good to actually hear people actually had a blast, and this is what it's meant to be. It's a bit mad, it's a bit hectic, it's a bit crazy all over the place, but all in all, it's still magic. Do you know what I mean? It's still fucking magic. And then I've got one last thing here to play before I actually have to bounce and do the random show. I've got a couple of videos here that I've taken of people recording some things on the inside that I want to play for you. So this in particular, I've got one clip here, and then I've got another one as well that I want to play, taken from random people's Instagram stories via the the geolocation thing on Instagram. I'm sure some of you guys know there's a really cool geolocation feature on Instagram where you can kind of see people's Instagram stories they're uploading via the location that they're at. So if you want to check Wagwan with Berghain or the vibes inside, just click on the Berghain location and you can take you to all these geo location things, and you can see everyone's stories that they're uploading during the time that they're there. So let's play a few of these clips here of people's stories during the Berghain 20th birthday party. Allegedly this is Bestie Hero playing, right? Bestie Hero playing. Let's continue. Best to hear. Let's continue. Ben Clock and Fadi Moham. Screams, bro. That's one of the things. That's one of the best things when you're in there. When you hear people like screaming and going crazy over bass lines, and stuff, and drops. Like it's, it's honestly, it's goosebumps. Like the whistles and the screeching, people humming along to bass lines and melodies and shit. It's so fucking good. Jacko back to back with Sam Voltek, allegedly. Go on.
Bota o arroz.
It's actually Luke Slater playing. Big up the tune ideas in the chat. Love to see it. Oh, I should have been there. I should have been in there, man. I should have been fucking monging out in my Airbnb in Panorama Bar. I should have been in there. Yeah. Oh, I should have been in there, man. We'll be in there again next month. We're there next month. We're back in Berlin next month. Berghain next month. We're there. Weekend January 24th. See you there. See you square. And of course in February again to see Freddie K. We're there. We're there. Oh, look at this. Look at the queue outside. Look how long that queue is. Who posted this? This is a post. Oh, this is about Kelza. Big up Kelza. Eternally grateful to have celebrated 20 years with Berghain and Panorama Bar, sharing a booth with the artist that invited me there. At the first place was okay. So Eftemin. Okay, Eftemin was the one that got Kelza into Berghain. It wasn't actually Berghain booked him. Interesting. I wonder if that happens often. Because Kelza's really highly rated, and now Berghain seems to be in love with Kelza. He's always playing there. He's kind of like an unofficial resident, but he actually got invited there first via Eftemin, and now he's a mainstay. Okay, nice to see. So the next 20 years, full of risk, full of madness, full of love, and countless hours of dance. I have seen a bit of a anti-Kelza brigade forming on the Berghain community subreddit. Everyone loved him when he first kind of was in the scene. These magical sets. Oh, it's like a soundscape. You know, he's out here creating scores live on the dance floor and all that shit. But now I've seen a lot of hate towards Kelza. People are starting to hate that kid. Fucking hate the internet, man. You fucking loved him. You were sucking him off. And now, because he's getting too bait or too famous, you now don't like him. Get out of here. Yeah. Someone's wristband here. Nice to see. Big up the wristband crew. And obviously people making horrible posts where they post other things that don't have nothing to do with Berghain. But big up the people that went. They seem to have a blast. Big up the people that were positive, that left good reviews and shit, and who weren't complaining the entire time they were there. Great to see.